going on, my friends? Today we're in the garage to work on the second gen Cummins because I'm 99% sure that we blew the turbo in it last weekend. But before we get into that, let me give you a couple updates. I know it's been a while since we've had a second gen video or a Trans Am video, but we've been extremely busy lately with some garage and house updates. So to give you a quick rundown, we'll get into this in a separate video, but we installed a mini split. We have a new air compressor set up and we hard lined it in. As you can see that going all the way around. We have a little paint station over there. We have the block, heads, and crank, all my rods and pistons for the Trans Am build. We have that coming soon. We have tons of work still to do on the engine bay, so all different videos, but just give you a rundown on what's going on. We installed some overhead storage, and then I did a lot of attic work with insulation and like reorganizing and stuff. So there's lots of house changes going on, but we're back in full swing with some truck content coming because we have a big event coming with it that we need to get it ready for, but we'll get into that later. So today we're going to be diving into the turbo because I'm pretty sure we blew it up. Let me just show you what we have going on. Of course, it's dark. Let me grab a light. That is one downfall of our overhead storage. It's really dark over here now, so I need to work on getting some lights over here. But let me just show you what's going on with Mr. Turbski. Set you right there. So we just have a lot of shaft play going on. I don't know if you can hear that. It contacts the cover. And if you look like right here, see that right there. It's made contact with the cover in like the 6 o'clock to like 10 o'clock position. So definitely not ideal. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's all up and down, like side to side play. There's no in and out, at least like there's very little. So we caught it early. Hopefully it's not too damaged, but we just need to pull the compressor cover off and see what we got going on. But before we do all that, I want to do a leak test on it. So I picked up this stuff off Amazon. It's just a little line with a regulator and a ball valve, and then this boost leak tester. It has a 5-inch boot to a 4-inch, and then this tester right here. If you guys are interested in this stuff, I'll put some links down below so you can get this for yourself. But I want to hook this stuff up and test it for leaks just because I want to know what causes turbo to go out. And if we have a major boost leak, I'm sure that probably is a contributing factor. I already cracked the line on the turbo feed, the oil feed line to the turbo. I already cracked it and checked it for oil flow, and it's all good. I'll put a clip of that right here. So I know it has good oil flow going to the turbo. I'm thinking that we have a big boost leak somewhere, so we need to find that. But quick story time on what happened. So I took my parents for a ride a couple weekends ago, and we were just at a dead stop in first gear. I just stood on it, grabbed second with lockup, and the truck started spinning really good. It was doing a good burnout. I grabbed third because we're having a good time, we're partying. Near the top of third, I felt the truck kind of nose over on me, and almost felt like I tapped the brakes and it stopped spinning. And I didn't really hear like that normal noise you hear when you have a boost leak, like you blow a boot or something. So I didn't really think too much of it, although I definitely should have. And so I took the truck back and we hung out for the weekend, and then they left. And then my wife's grandparents came down and I took her grandpa for a ride, and we tried to do a full boat launch in it because I'm gonna do some testing, and it just had like no power. It sounded terrible. The turbo was not making turbo noises. It was making like a howling noise. So I knew something was wrong. So I brought it back, pulled the intake off, and then that's when we found all that play in the wheel. That's when I ordered this stuff because I wanted to try and find the boost leak, but I've already accepted that the turbo's done, so we're gonna have to find something else. I did talk to Fleece to see if they would do a rebuild on it, and they pretty much told me they can't do anything about it anymore because they don't make this turbo anymore. They can't get bearings for it, they can't get a wheel for it. So they pretty much said that I have a paperweight. So we're working with my buddy Jade from Cummins Built Turbochargers. He's gonna hook me up. He's gonna help me build a turbo. He's gonna take this one in and try to use some of the parts he can off of it, and he's gonna get me set up with a good turbo. So we are gonna be changing turbo setups on this thing, probably drop down to a T3 charger. If you guys watch Boosted Taylor's channel, he helps me out with a lot of tunes and just like advice on turbo setups, and he has really good luck with T3 chargers on these trucks. So we're gonna drop down to a T3 charger. But that's enough rambling. Let's get the boost leak checker on it and see if we can find some boost leaks. And this guy should help our lighting situation. That's a lot better. One more thing I forgot to mention, after we check it for boost leaks, we're gonna pull turbo off, obviously, but all of the powder coated parts, that's Kingsport gray, we're gonna pull off, and we're gonna change up the powder coat color. So drop a comment down below what color we should go with. I have a few in mind, but we also have a different valve cover coming, electric fans coming, and we're also gonna be changing up the wiring because this is just, one, not appealing and not the best way to do this. This is just all done a long time ago before I really knew what I was doing. So we're gonna change that up as well. But I just got the air compressor charged up, so let's get the boost leak tester on this thing and see if we can find any leaks. All right, we're gonna hook up our regulator and we're gonna put about 20 PSI in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. Dang, we really gotta figure out some lighting over here. All right, that's a little bit better. So we got the regulator hooked up, all the clamps are tight. We're just gonna give her some air and adjust our regulator. There's about 20 PSI right there. I already hear a massive boost leak coming from this boot down here. Let me just grab you guys. So we got a leak down here for sure, underneath the truck. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That's very obvious. You can feel it coming out like right here. So I don't know if the clamp needs adjusted, if you have something going on. I can kind of stop it doing that. So I'm gonna have to, well, look at this when we pull the intercooler pipes off. I can hear one right here too. Yeah. Where's that coming out of? Okay, all of these have a little bit of air coming out too, so that's great. I feel some air like right here, just really coming out. It has to be those little square gaskets that mount the intake horn to the plenum. It's gotta be this corner right here. So that's unfortunate. I don't really hear any other ones or feel any down here, but normally you'd spray this down with soap and water and you can find the leaks, but I didn't even need to do that to find these leaks. And you know it's bad because we're already dropping pressure. My air pressure is gonna have to turn back on here in a second. Kind of a good thing, I guess, that we found some boost leaks. We have something going on here, and I'd say that probably was a contributing factor to the turbo going out. But honestly, we abused the crap out of that turbo. It's like probably 6 or 7 years old and has like 15,000 miles-ish, 10 or 15, something like that, but really hard miles. We have surged the crap out of that thing, done lots of pulls, obviously. It pretty much just lived its whole life like wide open throttle, just making 50 to 60 pounds of boost. So I can't blame for going out. We did not have a wastegate on it either. So this thing surged like all the time. Oh, we were about to blow our boost leak tester off. Guess I didn't get that clamp tight enough. But either way, at least we know we have some boost leaks and we know what to fix. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all this stuff torn down. We'll get some new gaskets over there, try and figure out what's going on down here. I have to reseat that clamp or something. So hopefully we can fix that when we get a new turbo in. Obviously, when we get the new turbo on, we're gonna boost leak check it as well, and hopefully get all these leaks fixed. So let's just go ahead and get this turbo off and start pulling the rest of our parts off. I don't really see any major damage to the fins at all, to the wheel, but I'll let the turbo expert make that judgment call. All right, turbo is coming off. Let's go check it out. All right, we got the turbo up here on the bench, and it's a lot easier to see the shaft play with the compressor cover off. It's kind of hard to do on this bench because the turbo kind of flops around, but I mean, you get the point. You guys already saw it. You can kind of see it right there. If you watch that gap. She's definitely done, and I'm glad we caught it this early and it didn't come apart, because if this wheel exploded, that would have been a bad day and sent shrapnel throughout the whole intercooler, possibly into the engine. That'd have been a really bad day. Bummer, but I'm glad we caught it early. So I just need to get my feed line fitting off right here, get him off, and then kind of put the compressor cover back on, get him boxed up. But in the rest of this video, we're gonna get the rest of these parts torn off. We're gonna leave the valve cover because I have a different cover coming, but we're gonna get all this stuff torn off and change up the powder coat color. We're gonna do black on these guys for sure. But as far as the charge pipe goes, we're still thinking about our color. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think. As you see, we have a coolant bypass installed, but it is capped right now. If you watch my latest video, if you keep up with the channel, we had some problems with the truck getting up to operating temp. And so we tried a new water pump. We tried an OEM 190 thermostat. We even put a new thermostat in the coolant bypass on the back side of the block, and none of that solved the problem. It still would not get temp. So we threw a new fan clutch on it thinking that was it, and that still didn't fix it. And so last resort, I capped the coolant bypass because a lot of people were saying it's a coolant bypass, and to my surprise, it didn't fix it either. So the truck would still only get to 160. I don't understand it. It makes no sense to me how I have a 190 degree thermostat here and a 180 back there, and it only gets to 160. This will not climb up past that unless I block off the radiator, which I did in the last video. And so our solution is we're getting electric fans, and those will come on with the coolant temp. So hopefully with those, we can get up to temp and not have to worry about this anymore. And we can put our coolant bypass back on. All right, we got everything torn off the engine that we wanted to get off today. We got the turbo, all the intercooler piping. We got our stock fan shroud and fan, and a few accessory brackets and stuff like that. We took all that stuff off so we could change up the powder coat color, and then obviously we gotta get a turbo. But this is a really familiar sight. I feel like we were just here when we were putting the engine back in. So now I'm just going through and buttoning up a few things that I wanted to do. If you watched my engine rebuild series, you know that I replaced my factory heater core hoses for braided ones. And when I did that, I accidentally ordered the wrong fittings. Let me show you real quick. I already put the old ones away, but I had ordered push lock to female. And in doing so, I had to get a male-to-male adapter, which I had on hand. So I got it to work for the time being, but I wanted to swap them back out for the right fitting. So now we have a push lock to male. And it just didn't look very good. It was like this long because it was a female, and then to the adapter, and then to the actual AN fitting. So I just wanted to correct those. And I thought now's a good time, since I have the truck apart, I can work on this stuff. And then the lower hose, I wanted to put this heat wrap on it, which is just this stuff right here, because this hose kind of gets close to the exhaust in the turbo. So I just wanted to make sure it's protected and doesn't get hot or anything. So I threw this heat wrap on it, and I put some heat shrink on it, which doesn't really look that great. It didn't turn out as good as I wanted, but it's all right. It's good enough, and I know that the line is protected now. So now I'm just gonna throw these back on, and then we're gonna call this good right here. I threw all my parts into the bed of the truck. All that stuff we gotta take to get powder coated. And then this stuff's just parts. I don't know if we can use our old intake. We gotta figure out what turbo we're gonna get before we can reuse this intake. And then we got the turbo sitting right here, ready to go to Tellman built, to either get refreshed or trade it in for a different turbo. But that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'm gonna throw those heater core hoses back on real quick and then call it a night. So thank you guys for watching. We knocked this thing out. We got everything torn apart. Like I said, huge bummer that the turbo did let go on us, but I'm really glad we caught it early and it didn't amount to anything worse. But drop a comment down below on what turbo I should throw in this thing, and also give me some powder coat ideas for the engine bay. I have a few ideas in mind, but I'd like to hear what you guys would do. But with that, thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for more second gen content because we have a lot coming for it. I'll see you guys in the next video.